Why do I support a $15 minimum wage? The answer to that question, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty simple. For starters, I live in Kansas. Kansas follows the federal government on the stance of minimum wage. The city I live in is dirt poor, nonetheless. There's gang violence, drugs, and not a whole lot of opportunity for jobs, despite good potential for what we can do. But the problem is, our local government, who bends over backwards for the railroad industry and the oil refinery, is more worried about tearing up the roads, the railroads, and not even getting the job done, and it seems like for every establishment we build, at least 3 before it were tore down. And when the end result is economic downturn, Kansans, doing what we and other Republican-leaning demographics do best, follow the propaganda and blame the Mexicans, and not our local elected officials. Enter yours truly, ladies and gentlemen. At 21 years old, my parents had already moved out of their parents' houses, gotten married, and had me on January 19th, 2000. The minimum wage back then was $5.15 an hour, which is equal to $7.51 by 2018 standards. My parents could work at McDonald's and be stable no problem. But compare that to me at 21. The cost of living is much higher, the US dollar is worth much less, and at 21 years old, I'm working for a grocery store chain during the COVID-19 pandemic. And sometimes I feel as though the suffering in the labor force that occurred under communist Russia was just a projection made by the capitalists in the USA. I've never even had my first kiss, and I'm still living with my father. I just recently got a car, but I'm still spending over half of my monthly earnings, about $500 out of $800, on things like rent, car payments, and my phone bill. Couple that with the limited opportunity in my home city. Like, I can just imagine high school students that are trying to find a summer job and seeing crap like truck driver, engineer, or specialist positions, or people my age or older struggling the same way, seeing fucking law student. That's how bad it is. Apparently being a student is a job now. Point is, I still have a long way to go before I have my shit together. Anyways, I am a deli associate for my local grocery store. Most nights I'm closing shift, meaning I have to clean the fryer, the dishes, I sweep, mop, and take the trash out. My main station is the fryer, meaning that I'm frying chicken, okra, potato wedges, and sometimes seafood. I often turn up filthy at the end of my shift, feeling greasy in the face, my hands and arms smelling like dishwater, my glasses filthy with debris, and feeling completely drained. We cook the best chicken in town, and we get that dinner rush and lunch rush, and oftentimes there are only 2 people working at a time. So it can be tiring running from customer to customer, and even irritating when a customer is trying to ask for something while you're servicing someone else, or the phone is ringing when both of us have our hands full. My pay rate for all that work, $7.25 per hour. I often feel like I'm working a job that's actually worth around $10 or $12 an hour, like I'm being ripped off in a way. They call us essential workers, but I feel like we're the sacrificial lambs. If we were essential workers, you'd think the big bastard companies I and so many others work for would take their eyes off their profit charts for once and give us a little raise. But the minimum wage has been the same since 2009, a whole 12 years. I have been working for 2 of those years, and I was already somewhat aware of our flawed system before joining the workforce. Now, if you keep track of things that I note, you might know that last time I gave an update on my living situation, I was working for the meat department. So what gives? Well, at the beginning of January this year, I decided it wasn't working out for me in that line of work, so I decided I'd talk to the store director about getting back to work in stocking. At the time, he was only looking for a stocking manager, which isn't something I'd be up for anyway, regardless of my experience level. But the director was more worried that I wouldn't get enough hours per week, which even still I can come in on non-truck days and condition the aisles and whatnot. But anyways, one day he comes to me and proposes I work in the deli, because the deli was going to be short-handed because people kept quitting. Which it's not like I don't understand people doing that, but it was going to be me in the deli 2 to 3 days a week and 2 or 3 days in stocking. So I take him up on that offer just to be of help back there during a rough time with me being an experienced worker back there. But then the meat guy after me, who is the stocking manager prior, went on vacation, so I had to work the meat department again for the next 2 weeks, and after that I was in stocking for maybe a week longer before they just started dumping all my hours into the deli. It's been like that since the beginning of March. Now, if anyone recognizes me from work and decides to turn me in or whatever for speaking out about what has me disgruntled as an employee right now, it was fun until they cut my hours in stocking without even telling me. It was fun until they went through 3 new employees and still didn't pull me out of deli. It was fun until they let a lady leave the deli to work in stocking in addition to being a cashier. Meanwhile, I'm still pulling 6 to 7 day stretches, writhing around in the grease, and working myself to the bone. That is why I support a minimum wage increase to $15 an hour. And you're about to find out that I work way too fucking hard for $7.25, especially in an age where I can catch a lethal virus and die because people here are too stubborn to put a mask on while they shop, effectively too stubborn for their own good. But you know what? At this point, I wouldn't care if they pulled me into the office tomorrow and told me straight up, "You're fired." Fine, see ya. This rant was something that I was saving for until after I had escaped this torment, but the tension has been building up too much too quickly. Now, if you're a customer that wears a mask and understands the retail workplace culture well, and shows the workers kindness no matter what the situation might be, you're excluded from this video. This ain't about you. This is about the people who treat us like computers and feel it's okay to be mean to us over the smallest inconveniences, or things that shouldn't really matter.
This is not a test. The Francian imperial government has issued a national threat emergency. The Emperor of Francia has prepared a broadcast addressing the emergency. Emperor Tristan's broadcast will begin shortly.
I've done rants about the workplace before, and some of the problematic people that I've come across. I rant on the late Vlare about a couple of dickhole customers that, looking back on it, could really have been done better, and a rant segment on the 400 subscriber special about poor cart returning as well as 5 annoying shopping habits, and a rant on a bitch coworker in the 300 subscriber special. But now I'm ready to unleash my wrath in a well-calculated full-on rant on Karens, boomers, and those that are completely clueless and can't seem to communicate what it is and think it's our fault when we can't understand them. First thing I want to talk about are the people who feel perfectly fine acting all tough on the phone, but when they get here, they can't have the balls to give me that arrogant bullshit to my face. For example, here's how a conversation went between me and a customer. Hello, you've reached the deli. Of course, leaving out the name of the company that I work for. I don't want a bunch of trolls falsifying reports. If I go down, I want it to be legit. Yes, I picked up my order for 6 chicken legs and 2 chicken breasts. There were thighs instead of breasts. Now, this was completely the fault of the fry cook before me because she wrote down the wrong thing. I don't know how the original phone call went, but the fry cook wrote down the thighs for whatever reason. So that's what I gave them. Oh yeah, big difference. Now, I realize that nobody likes getting their order messed up, but dude, shut the fuck up, okay? You're not funny. Anyway, rest of that phone call was us making an arrangement. He was gonna bring the thighs back and exchange them for the breasts, which we didn't charge him for. But the guy straight up mocks me over the phone when he's in his safe space. When he gets here, he suddenly can't bring himself to say a word to me. Even if he did further disrespect me, I'd probably flip him off as I hand him the 2 breasts. No joke, at least I know he's not a total chicken shit. Like some troll on the fucking internet. Like the people that were harassing me to demask and assuming that because I wore a mask on YouTube back in the day, it was because I was super ugly. When they themselves were probably using a fucking throwaway, had no more than maybe 5 subscribers, and had no goddamn content on their channel. This guy is exactly like an internet troll. And I get that nobody likes having their food fucked up, but it gets real eye-roll worthy when it's coming from someone who probably has never been in retail like I have. Guy acts like he's never dealt with a miscommunication. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if he just changed his mind and never called us back to let us know, and decided to mock us after tripping in his own shit. Stupid bastard. Anyway, our next customer has the same issue, except she actually has no problem raising hell in person. But she continues coming back for more, and at least one of the managers, whom was once a bakery associate for our deli, is certain that she's scamming us, and by doing that, she, the customer, can come in, buy something, leave, call the store back, bitch at us and tell us the food was nasty, and demand either a refund, a replacement, or both. She's visited us twice since I've been back in the deli, and both times I've had to help her, but both times I've gone out of my way to delay her service. I've given her a look of disdain when I've had to deal with her in any way. First encounter, she ordered some kettle fried wings that I had to cook just for her. When I saw it was her, I was like, oh god. god. So I go to her, she says she's here for her order, I give it to her, and let her go on her merry fucking way. She calls the front desk, bitches, and asks if she can come back and get something different for free. In between that, the manager, you know, the former bakery associate, comes back and she knows, or at least thinks, that this bitch is trying to fuck us over. So we vent to each other about it for a bit, and then start preparing for war. Story is the customer was going on about how the food was practically inedible. The manager tries one of the kettle wings that were sitting in the hot bar, and she thought they were just fine. They weren't even undercooked. So the bitch comes back some 30 minutes later, and by that point, my coworker was slicing some lunch meat and cheese for another customer. I saw she was back while I was trying to do the dishes, and I was like, oh, fuck that, and went back to doing the dishes for about a minute or two. But then the customer my coworker was dealing with kept ordering shit, and this ancient fucking relic starts spouting off curse words, I think at the other customer, which, thanks the fuck a lot. Go on ahead, open yourself up for a complaint, even though you're the customer. I'm sorry, but you can't just go around being a bitch to everyone you see. It doesn't work like that. Hell, I wish the other lady would have complained, then management would have finally banned your scamming ass from the store. But anyways, she comes back, but this time wants the dinner plate. And so I figure she wants a kettle wing dinner. So I go for the kettle wing. No, I want the cabbage rolls. No joke, that's what I did. I threw my arm up like, well, what the fuck? So I just get her fucking food and haul ass back to doing dishes, without even telling her have a great day or anything like that. She continues to try and tell me that's mine too, where I guess there was a container with a couple more cabbage rolls on the counter on our side of the hot bar. I'm not gonna continue fucking with her. It ends when you start being all snappy and falsifying complaints about the food when the food is fucking fine. Like, why is it so fucking hard to just act your age? Which, if I told her that, she'd probably drop dead already, but god damn it, I understand people here are just fucking miserable that way, but even on my worst days, I'll show kindness to the cashiers and shit. Because when you've worked in retail for a long enough time, that's something you learn is fucking manners. Reasonability. Anyways, second encounter with her has me ready to just call her out on her shit. Because this time she called the deli directly and started spitting her venom. I had the misfortune of walking into that. Hello, you've reached the deli. Yes, I came and bought some of your fried chicken, right? What she bought was a thigh and a leg, for context. Correct. How long have you had this out? Because this is cold. It's been since around 12, so about 3 hours. Well, this is cold. Why are you still selling this? I hang up. Second time I hung up on her. First time was during my first run. She insinuated I didn't know what I was doing. Anyway, she tried calling back a few more times, but I picked up the phone and kept hanging it right back up. And she would call up again, and I would pick up and hang right back up. Like, try me, bitch. If you're gonna get snappy, you ain't getting service. But anyway, she calls back, and my coworker, who at the time was training 2 new hires, fucking imagine literally your first day on the job and having to deal with this shit. But anyways, my coworker decides she's gonna answer it, and she just makes the arrangement to not charge her for her next visit, because she was coming back to get some straight out of the fryer. Well, I was already putting some fried chicken down anyway, so we didn't have to worry about making it fresh for this bitch, because I was already making some anyway. But yeah, our fucking food is kept in the hot bar at 140 degrees Fahrenheit for about 4 hours. So I'm just doing my fucking job there. I'm not stupid, but if me just doing my job makes me as such, I'm not stupid enough to let some bitch start with me. She can croak already and go to hell. Fucking old bitch. She even looks like she's 87, if I'm gonna make a ballpark estimate. But she comes back, gets her chicken, and I swear the shit is fresh out of the fucking fryer. Like it wasn't even in the bar yet. They were picking it out of the bucket that I was bringing it in. But we give it to her, and I swear she starts holding the bag by the pieces of chicken in it, fucking holding it 200-degree pieces of chicken with nothing but a plastic bag protecting her hands from getting burnt off. She's shaking it, yelling, "This is cold!" And I was just like... I was just giving off the stare. I'm surprised nobody noticed, but she fucks off eventually. Like, why even fucking shop here if every time you do, there's something that's got you so riled up that you have to call us and start bitching at us? I'm not even kidding. She pulls this every time she comes to the store. So then why continue wasting your money? Or, I'm sorry, you get a refund, so wasting your time. You don't have much time left, lady. So why fucking bother with us if our product is all pretty much trash to you? I remember what I said. We cook the best chicken in town. But why not fucking try Walmart or Kentucky Fried? Or did they ban you for the same shit? Can you not be pleased? Do you even like fried chicken? If not, there's plenty, well, plenty. A couple burger joints, and a few Mexican joints, and even a couple pizza places for you to choose from. Make your own fucking food. Or do you just not like eating it all? Fine, starve yourself, and fucking die already. I really don't care. One thing I cannot stand is when people bite the hand that feeds them. This next customer wasn't even bitching at me, but at the bakery cake decorator for something that takes just 5 minutes to do, if even that. So the story goes that this old boomer bitch ordered a cookie cake for late in the afternoon, and I was the first to try and help her. She says she's here for the order. I look everywhere that I know to look, and can't find it. Luckily, one of the more experienced workers there had come back after running to go get a case of chicken, so I ask her, and the bitch, tells her and gives her the most irritated look ever and repeats what she ordered. So even my coworker can't find it, and so she asks the cake decorator, which I hadn't known was over by the cold case right next to the deli stocking shit, so my coworker asked the decorator where it is, and it turns out it hadn't even been made yet. And that's when the lady starts getting shitty with us. Around that time, I distanced myself from the situation because I figured, oh god, she's gonna be a bitch about this, isn't she? But yeah, she starts going on about, I told you late afternoon, and is yelling at the cake decorator and whining to my boss. So I'm thinking, lady, you ordered a cookie cake. Then things come in already done. All they have to do is write happy birthday or whatever the fuck you want wrote on it. And even if you want a border or the cookie cake to be covered in a certain kind of icing or even both, chances are you're stuck there waiting for like 5 minutes max. And these fucking oversized cookies run up to maybe $10, maybe even less. So do something with that time other than bitch about the inconvenience. Go look at the ice cream or cookies or some shit. It's not that big of a fucking deal. You can be 5-10 minutes late to the birthday party if that's even going on. It's not gonna fucking hurt anything. What really ticks me off is, how can someone be so angry over something sweet, like a cookie? How do you get that upset over sweet, sugary, delicious foods, especially when it's for someone's birthday? On my post about it to our Rants from Retail, I brought up the point that I could have just said, who do you think you are, the Queen of England? But I mean, let's be honest, you'd have to be a pretty shitty queen to be verbally abusing an overstretched staff like this, with fucking truck day going on and everything else. It's the difference between acting like a complete and utter fucking psycho and yelling at the employees, people you've never fucking met, for not having your shit ready, especially when giving them such an obscure time as late afternoon, and waiting patiently and being understanding, knowing we're busy as all fuck, the way a normal fucking human would act. We are only paid $7 an hour, lady. We just want to perform our manual labor and get the hell out of here. Yelling and bitching at minimum wage employees is the easiest way to get put at the bottom of the priority list. And this shit about, well, maybe you'll be on time next time, or the customer's always right, does not fly. We are not your punching bags, and we will not kneel to you. We are not your servants. We are minimum wage employees struggling to get by during a global goddamn pandemic. We are not here to take verbal abuse. Some of us have problems that you don't even know about. Problems you've never had to worry about because you've either been living off welfare your whole adult life or were born into a successful family, which I guess that helps you feel like the fucking Queen of England. But still, use your power wisely and pick your battles wisely, because treating overworked, underpaid employees like shit can really tarnish your reputation in this day and age, and for good reason. As a successful person, it is generally frowned upon when you start walking over the people below you. That will wrap up the first saga of this nuke, the Deli Part 1, if I even get to do a Part 2, but maybe, if I still have some time left over. Moving on to my time as a meat department associate. My responsibilities as a meat department associate were to stock meat and dairy products. What does that entail? Lunchables, the prepackaged lunch meat I wish people would choose over having shit manually sliced at the deli, sausage links, hot dogs, burgers, frozen rice, chicken products, frozen burritos, frozen seafood, corn dogs, shredded cheese, block cheese, cream cheese, you know, shit like that. I don't stock milk. That's usually a grocery department, aka stocking, receiving thing. And we'll get to why that's important later. What it's like is having 3 full U-boat carts, like almost overflowing with stuff, and a pallet of more stuff. And I have to stock this with virtually no help, and it's pretty doable, say, in 6 hours. Not a 6-hour shift, but 6 hours of just stocking. But usually they'd only book me for that long, and the process of stocking would almost always continue the next day. The last 3 hours of the shift, and yes, your math is correct, sometimes I had to work 9 a.m. to bloody 6 in the afternoon, but the last 3 hours are reserved for getting cleaned up, and that includes cleaning the trays, cleaning the tools, making sure everything's put away, breaking down the equipment, which was a meat grinder, a saw, a tenderizer, the meat slicers I always did the last thing, and we'll get to why later also. I was also tasked with cleaning the drain filters and sanitizing the boards on the tables. When everything was cleaned, I would also run beef and pork products to make sure everything's stocked up. Aside from stocking during the day, I would also be tasked with running back stock, which almost never went out. My favorite part about it all, though, was wrapping beef and pork products that were put out every night. Never liked stocking it, though, as the carts never fucking went straight. They'd always fucking turn or twist. The fucking worst part was when I was spraying shit down, because the hose would always kink. Or when I'd get fucking done cleaning the slicers, have everything goddamn finished, and some guy would come to me wanting a ham to be sliced. Literally as I was about to leave. So I had to get his fucking shit sliced, clean the slicers and the drain filters again, and be out late. But whatever, what's 5 minutes hurt, right? Me, when I get done busting my ass for 6 to 9 hours straight, and I just want to go the fuck home, but you had to pester me when you could just get pre-sliced ham. That's what the fuck it hurts. Anyways, the first customer I already ranted about a little on my rant on alt-leftist Democrats, but I suppose I'll fill you in. I was stocking dairy products, and some dumbass lady started a chat with one of her friends who had just recovered from COVID. Hey, how's it going? I heard you caught the Rona. She starts her conversation, and the guy, after confirming that, starts coughing. Why? Why would you do that? So I told you guys about me posting this to our rant and how it got downvoted and removed. I posted my grievances to our mods are killing Reddit, and they upvoted that post. I reskinned the original post and submitted it to our rants from retail, and they upvoted it. Agreed with me and even backed me up when some shithead troll tried to tell me, shut the hell up, kid, because I'm sure that working is something that children typically do. At least I have a job. But anyway, should what that guy did not be considered a form of biological warfare? I've mentioned before that these types of covites should be classified as bioterrorists, but you can't deny this, and I don't want to hear anyone telling me that COVID itself should be considered bioterrorism from China. These dickheads are just as responsible for helping spread the virus from person to person. I even texted my friend telling him that I might have just been exposed to COVID. These people could have just as easily contacted each other on Facebook or on the phone instead of having this cough-riddled discussion in the middle of a grocery store, literally blocking the path for their stupid fucking 15-minute chat. A grocery store during the height of a pandemic, especially if one or more parties is a victim of said pandemic, is neither the time nor the place to dick around and flap your jaw at someone you haven't seen in over a decade. Moving on, let me mention that I feel like I've gotten more questions that would better fit a grocery department associate during my time in meat than during my time as an actual grocery department associate. Customers would ask where something is, like frozen waffles for example, and I would tell them that first frozen aisle down there. But they would play stupid expecting a number like aisle 6 or aisle 2 or something, just go, like, what aisle? I'd repeat, first frozen aisle across from the charcoal. They'd continue to play stupid, and I'd have to stop what I'm doing and show them, and that served well as a time waster when I was busy putting shit up. So yeah, there was that when I was in meat. One guy in particular pushed me to post to the subreddit. He was looking for a certain type of buttermilk, Bavarian style if I heard correctly, and he said that it comes in an orange container, and that kind of shit I don't think I've seen in the store in my 2 years of working. Only kind of buttermilk I see are Culture Highland and Bulgarian style buttermilk. And Bulgarian doesn't even come in jugs, but in cartons. But when I tell him that there's none in the entire store, he flips and starts cursing, telling me I've been here 3 goddamn times and no one knows if you got it or when you're gonna have it. I almost walked off on him because I've already got a ton of shit to worry about on my end of the store. Again, what did I say about acting your fucking age? I swear I'm dealing with man children. So I basically tell him, I don't know what to tell you. We don't even carry that kind of stuff. Like, if you've been here 3 times in the past week and we don't have it, you're shit out of luck. I'm sorry, not. That you can't be bothered to drive to the Walmart literally a mile outside of town, but I have no fucking clue why you require this specific type of buttermilk and why it has to be from my store. Honestly, cry me a fucking river. It's not like I have the authority to just order some on the spot. I'm fucking stalker slash cleanup guy for the fucking meat department. I can't do shit for you. I don't represent this company as much as you think I do, or as much as the store director does. Speak to him before ever trying to fucking initiate a cursing match with someone who frankly doesn't get paid near enough for the shit he has to accomplish. Same as Deli, I go home feeling exhausted, exasperated, frustrated, greasy in the face, and smelling like shit. On top of that, my aisles are the most cluttered in the entire fucking store without a doubt. I've had trouble finding where shit is supposed to go because some fuckhead thought it would be a good idea to put a similar looking item in its place. I found grapes and chips on the cheese shelf on more than one occasion, and that ties in perfectly with the questions that I would often get about produce items. Like, dude, I'm hauling around carts of beef and pork products. I have never worked a day in produce in my damn life. I don't have the slightest clue what I can do to help you find the oranges or strawberries or lettuce or whatever it might be. Like, I can just imagine that the biggest vegans around here still consume cheese without even realizing that it comes from livestock. So no, I really don't have time to worry about your stupid fucking buttermilk, or why you can't just go with fucking Bulgarian or cultured. More than anything, I really wish people would just grab something and leave the cocksucking store this pandemic. Jesus Christ, who the fuck cares about Bavarian buttermilk? What recipe calls specifically for Bavarian? I'd really like to know, especially for him to try and be a dick about it. Our next customer decided to be political about shit. Like, how many people fucking talk about politics with people they've never fucking met, not realizing that such a discussion is best to be avoided when engaging in small talk? Because now everyone thinks you're a fucking freak. Anyways, she was a carry-out that I had to help while I was in meat, because no one in stocking was available to take care of it. And this was in November after Trump lost the election. But as you can probably guess, she started shit-talking Black Lives Matter and feeding me this fucking all lives matter shit. Well, first she helped someone pay because they didn't have enough money and told me that's what makes America great. Well, no shit, I mean, mean, sure, you help somebody who doesn't quite have the money. That's the nice and good human thing to do. It doesn't really have anything to do with making America great, though. But the person you support wouldn't toss so much as a dime in that man's direction. So she continues talking right-wing and telling me Black Lives Matter and how they're sent to the human world by the devil and how she knows this because she's a fucking Christian and praises Jesus. You know, as if most people here don't already hate BLM enough. I'm sure there are at least a few people working here that agree with you, lady. But I'm not one of them. Telling me about how devil shit disguises itself as a good cause. And it sounds like it, doesn't it? Bitch, there are good fucking people with BLM. The whole cause is to spread awareness that cops aren't always so friendly, especially towards people of color. What you're seeing, and would see less of if you took off those fucking Tucker Carlson goggles here and there, are the assholes that were rioting. Which, by the way, Tucker Carlson is such a dumbass. I swear, every time I hear that guy talk about something, especially when it's about masks and children wearing them, I just go, oh, shut the fuck up. This guy is literally the Doug West of the news reporting industry. I don't know how anyone can take him seriously. But anyways, her little All Lives Matter speech led me to donate $100 and even leave a $5 tip to the Black Lives Matter movement as soon as I was on break. I told our love and he called me a god. I mean, it's like, we get it, okay? For the 100th time with 5 cherries on top, BLM isn't saying that only Black Lives Matter. At least not all of them, not most of them. The whole fucking point is that for all lives matter, black people have to be part of the discussion. But the recent hate crimes on Asian people and the pain that Hispanic people have had to endure under ICE detention, it's hard to argue with all lives matter. But when Trump supporters fucking do it, they're not genuine. And if there's something someone can learn from watching my content, it's that I absolutely hate when people are ingenuine. Trump supporters, when they come with the all lives matter thing, they're really just trying to justify racist dipshit cops killing black people. It is literally a counter to Black Lives Matter. They don't give a fuck about anyone but white people. Which is why I like to counter All Lives Matter with Your Life Matters. Because if you're gonna go the, well, All Lives Matter route, at least be fucking genuine. Black people, your life matters. Asians, your life matters. Hispanics, your life matters. But you know, even as a deli associate, I still, for some reason, all the time, see people wearing Trump 2020 hats. Like, how are we in May the next year, and people are still, like, banging on the table like an unruly child at dinner, claiming that Joe Biden stole the election, and that in their feeble minds, Trump is still lawfully the president. This is sore loser on a level like I have never even fucking seen before, ever. Please, just fuck off. Seriously, no one cares what you think. Go to Mar-a-Lago with that shit, or hang out with your like-minded friends. Like, I go out of my way to avoid serving people who are still wearing Trump merch. And you know why? It's because of the Capitol riot. I don't fucking negotiate with terrorists, and the fact that these big-ass companies are still allowing Trump supporters just proves that all these fucking CEOs and shit care about are profits. If someone came in wearing a fucking ISIS shirt, they'd be bitched out of the store by other customers, and probably even some employees too. But because this is terrorism in the name of a former president, especially in the case of Kansas, suddenly terrorism is acceptable. I stopped giving a fuck about my freedoms after the Capitol riot. Fuck Trump supporters. Seriously, they don't deserve the air that I breathe. I don't want you here. Get out of my store. Get out of my fucking country. Go to Belarus, where they actually have the gall to suppress opposition movements, sometimes even with military force. Just go away. Anyways, moving on from meat, summer of last year was pretty relaxed, and this was because I was working in stocking, the job I desired, and with 2 of the coolest cats on the job. Truly the high point of my career. The one customer that annoyed me, but wasn't even really a piss-off, his idea of small talks was, wearing these masks is murder, isn't it? Dude, you're talking to someone who's been on the clock for 7 hours since the morning, and is hauling shopping carts in 100-degree weather. Except I didn't say that, but I laughed and said, I guess. You're going in for your grocery run, which won't take you maybe an hour tops. Now, while the work is good, I feel like I'm more likely to die by way of idiot driver than I am suffocating trying to breathe through a face mask. A closer equal to murder would be you going in without a mask, spreading COVID, and someone catching it and dying. Which, speaking of that, during the production of this alone, someone who, despite having said they had their first vaccine shot, admitted that they might have a mild case of COVID to a cashier. And the cashier talked to me with her mask down. But hopefully, I can trust that she's vaccinated. But god damn it! For the love of all that is holy and unholy, stay the fuck home if you think you have COVID. After that situation, though, the cashier sprayed everything down and will be reporting to the store director that they've been exposed, which I might need to too. Stepping back into the deli, I feel like this shouldn't go without mentioning that someone filed a complaint against me and fucking lied. I made up some bullshit to try and get me in trouble. And this was what? A few weeks ago? Fucking crazy ass goddamn lunch rush. The fry cook that shift was barely helping. Guy has me go through the trouble of making a sandwich for him. Wants lettuce and mayo in addition to ham and cheese of his choosing. I get his sandwich done for him. He leaves and I change out of my mayo covered gloves, give it to him and take off to use the restroom. And literally I come back and find this motherfucker sandwich in the can't be sold pile on the stainless steel table. I swear to God, that pissed me off. I threw it in the trash out of anger because this guy literally just wasted my fucking time, almost like he had me make this sandwich just to see if he could. Like those fucking lazy pricks for husbands or boyfriends that make their girl fucking make the sandwich because they can't be bothered to get up off their fat asses to do it themselves. Anyways, come to find out, this guy complained against me because the cake decorator asked me if I was wearing gloves during this. And I told her yes, and she asked which color. They were the blue nitrile. And we discuss it, and I tell her I distinctly remember changing out after I got done. I don't know what the fuck this guy was saying, but I bet you're a good person to deal with elsewhere. Fucking cunt. See, this is exactly what I mean when I say I work too hard for this shit. My coworker is barely helping. The manager and cake decorator usually have to be the ones to help me disperse the crowd. I make this ham and cheese sandwich, and not even 5 minutes later, it's on Can't Be Sold. Fuck my life. And for just $7.25 an hour. Fucking real glorious life I'm living. And next customer, I swear not a week goes by without someone acting like a spoiled brat. This next incident was literally during production. Just imagine for me, if you will, getting angry at the fucking deli guy because he keeps missing the piece of fucking chicken strip that you want. Was it easy? If so, you are part of the problem. Why do you fucking waste my time with this shit? Regardless of size, they all taste the same. I asked this one, maybe twice, and she was already cooking up her glare, staring to the side, and I was like, you know what? You can't always get what you want. I picked the chicken strip I had my pair of tongs over, flicked my fingers for exercise just in case she called me something along the lines of stupid ass, and I needed to flip her off. I tag it, put her shit on the counter without saying another word, and let her fucking storm off like a bitch, and immediately started on the next customer. Again, best way to get snubbed out by public service employees is to start getting shitty over trivial matters, such as a specific piece of chicken that you were wanting. That's first world fucking problems at its worst. This bitch is a regular too, so I bet this next little while I try to work with management to try and switch departments will be fun. Which you would think that if you like the chicken enough to visit regularly, you'd be willing to remain patient as the clerk figures out what exactly the fuck you want. But in this case, it sounds like she views us as her personal cooks. Not any goddamn more if I have anything to do with it. I swear, if I never worked in deli, I wouldn't have known so many adults act like fucking kids. Those people ranging from their late 20s to where they look like they're pushing 90. And maybe it's a good thing to know that I have this kind of Kevlar running through my veins to where I wouldn't be that annoyed by the deli guy giving me the wrong piece of chicken. And that I'm above these motherfuckers in that sense, or maybe that this line of work has turned me into a well-rounded citizen. I mean, Jesus Christ, if the guy was giving me like small portions, I'd ask for like a container of mac and cheese or potato wedges or some shit. But still, I'd be remiss if I didn't suspect that the people like this customer are addicted to fucking something, whether it's crack or what the fuck it might be. Because when I'm playing Bejeweled, I can't help but hyper-focus on those power gems. Or when I'm starting on a bag of sunflower seeds and I'm looking for the biggest seed, or the smallest one, or the fattest one, or whatever the hell looks like it has a good seed to empty space ratio. But even then, I still don't have the same fucking anger management issues people have when the deli clerk isn't seeing what fucking chicken strip you're pointing at. Lady, take a step back, go outside, take a smoke break, because I know you fucking smoke. Everyone here does, it seems like. Have a cigarette, or do your crack, whatever the fuck it's gonna take to make you chill the fuck out, and come back in when you're more mentally fit to interact with strangers. Next, can people please stop asking if we're new to the job? No, that is not how you start a conversation. That is not how you do small talk with retail employees, and is a good way to get snubbed out. Especially when you're asking someone that's been doing this for years. That's like asking, are you stupid? No, I've been working here for 2 years. I know what the hell I'm doing, okay? Are you? Like, here's the most recent scenario. Random lady comes up, wants the dinner plate. She, I guess, asks, how many do you get, in the midst of me trying to get her shit ready. Fucking hate when customers do that shit. Like, just let me get your food ready, and I'll be happy to answer any further questions. But anyways, I guess by how many do you get, she meant how many pieces of corn on the cob do you get as a side. Which, I guess I mistook that for how many sides do you get with the dinner plate. So I answered 2, but usually you only get 1 piece of corn on the cob. So I get her corn on the cob and only put 1, and she starts going on, I thought you get 2. So I just fucking, let's just get her fucking corn on the cob so she'll shut the fuck up and leave me alone, and then asks if I'm new here. Again, are you? You seem to not visit nearly enough to know how our fucking dinner plates work. Fucking 1 piece of corn on the cob already takes up the entire side dish, so adding an extra is like I have to put it where the entree is gonna go, if I even have room there. So I hope you like your chicken, or fish, or fucking cabbage rolls to have a hint of corn juice on it. So I ignore her question. But she does this as well. as I was putting the ribs out, which, interrupting myself, I swear it's almost like it's planned that a customer comes in or calls when we start working on packaging something that's just come out of the oven. So we have to stop what we're doing, pretty much letting the rotisserie chickens and ribs and shit get cold. But she continues and tries asking for another small dish of the pepper coleslaw, which I purposefully ignore until I have the ribs out on the hot case. Hey, don't you hear me? I want something. Why can't the fucking dinner plate just be enough? Jesus Christ! You get your 3 chicken strips, your 2 goddamn pieces of corn, of which regularly you only get 1, and your mashed potatoes and gravy and a bread roll on the side. And that's still not enough? Fucking shit. Next, the next person who raises their voice at me in a rude manner is gonna get what they give. This seems to be most common with boomers, though, because the only 2 types of these interactions I've had have been with gray hairs. First person that tried this shit with me was wanting to know what pieces of chicken, like legs, thighs, wings, breasts. I couldn't hear him, so I said, "Come again?" And he goes, "What are they?" So I raised my voice back, trying to tell him, "Legs, thighs, wings, and breasts." But he wouldn't fucking listen, asking me to repeat myself, and wouldn't fucking cut the shit until I pulled my mask down, which, ever since that day, I've been wondering if he was doing this shit on purpose just to make me take my mask off. Fucking anti-vax scum. Jesus, you know, now I see why people on our rant were so anti-vax back in the day. It's too bad they changed, though, because I can't even rant about possibly being exposed without being downvoted and removed. Anyways, he asked for 2 of this, probably 1 of that, which I just do 2 of each and bill it as an 8-piece, because obviously I just want this guy out of my sight by this point. Like, I don't know if you guys know how easy it is to hear someone through a mask, but this is what I sound like with a full setup, and it's why I've become less opposed to pulling my mask down over the months. But this is what I sound like with just 1 regular COVID mask. I really am almost clear as day with just 1 on. So this guy, I don't know if he had hearing problems or what the fuck. Second guy I've had this issue with was during my second run in the deli. Of course, everyone here wants fish, and I swear I'll never have to stop answering this question that he asks me, because every now and then, some psycho guy was religious too, had a coat for the Christian elementary school. His hair looked all ratty and shit too. But every now and again, some psycho like this guy will crawl out of his cave and decide he wants deli food. But he comes in, wants to know what the special is, and I have to ask him, "What's up?" As in, what was that? And he starts talking real slow like I'm retarded. "What is your special for today?" I answer fish and walk out, literally clocked out and left the building. All I had to do was start walking home. But I stay in front of the building for a solid minute or 2 contemplating that decision, but figured after that little bit, they probably already got him his fucking grub. Hey, will you just fucking chill, dude? I've got all this fucking background noise going on over you mumbling your fucking question, which I already answer fucking 50 times a day anyway. There's a fucking fryer, fan filter that's real loud. 9 times out of 10, the sink will be running. The oven's either got its fan on too, or is beeping, which is so loud that people hear it across the store. And a whole bunch of other background noises, like the shitty-ass fucking 80s cheese that they play over the radio, or my coworkers talking to each other and messing around with the tools. Just go piss someone else off, please. You guys are one to start getting rude with people that can't quite hear you, when half of you need fucking hearing aids. Getting snappy or treating us like we're retarded over this is a good way to not just get snubbed out, but also walked off on. Next time he comes in and pulls that shit, I'm gonna just pull it out and shove it in his face and go, "What's it look like?" Anyway, speaking of talking to us like we're retarded and talking slow like that, there was this one Karen who called up on a really busy afternoon trying to order a cake, and the quality, oh my god. And on top of that, she was calling us with her fucking TV blaring. Like, how can you be so fucking stupid? Ugh. Like, I know noise pollution isn't any better in the deli, but there's really nothing we can do to control that. If we cut off the fryer fan, we're gonna get a visit from the fire marshal because of all the smoke that's generated. The customers, sometimes they just can't be tamed, so of course you're gonna hear tongues clacking and talking, but at least when you're gonna call us, at least call us on a phone that has decent fucking quality, and turn your goddamn TV off. I step outside and into my carport when I phone up a business or organization. Of course, I live over by the highway, but goddamn, if it helps, it helps. But you know, it's not enough to call up with a bunch of noise going on and a phone that sounds like it's from the 90s. So when I get a call from a person wanting to order a cake, then I have no fucking clue what they're talking about, because most deli associates are trained just for the deli part, and when you sound like, "I need a pre-made baked cake, I need to know which cake I need to order, I need it, blah 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 blah," I just can't with you. It's already busy as fuck. I can't make out anything besides you needing a pre-made cake, needing to know what kind of cake to order, which I can't fucking read minds, and needing it for, what, April 7th? And that's still not being what the fuck you said? Then just come in and place an order face to face, and maybe then I might hear you a little better. Fucking hell! From then on, I started to think about that day, April 7th. I swear, if she wasn't some Karen hellspawn telling me the day that the Karen meme was gonna start to take off, and then just confirming it further by making me impatient with the way that she was talking to me about something that I'm not even fucking trained in, the traffic going on up front, and her not having the courtesy to call me in a decent quality and a quiet environment. So I hung up. I got chicken to fry, orders to prepare, and a line of customers forming, and on top of that, sleep wasn't plentiful the night before. And honestly, I can't really be bothered to serve those kinds of calls anyways. But she tried calling back, but I wasn't fucking having it. It was already shaping up to be a rough day. I didn't need some wench yelling unintelligible shit talk into my ears over something completely foreign to me, and a matter that I think only the cake decorator or the manager can rectify. I mean, really, what management as a whole can do, if they're not gonna really train us in bakery matters, they can at least get some people that they're gonna do that with. We could use some extra manpower at night anyways, clearly. When people are all gathering around for fried chicken, sliced ham, and sliced cheese and the phone is ringing off the hook, we need 4 fucking people at least to keep up with demands. I mean, hell, deli crew can be cleanup and the bakery crew can tackle those late night customers, as at least then traffic won't be so damn crazy. But like, you have to know you're understaffed when your workers are stretched that thinly. And thing is, the higher ups really don't give a fuck for some reason. No, you know what the reason is? They'd be missing out on those sweet, sweet profits by having to pay 2 more people to work the bakery deli at night. Speaking of late customers, does anyone else just hate when you're in the last hour of a closing shift, you're trying to clean up, and people just start coming in and calling up for a fucking last minute rush? I literally broke a broom over this and had to run into the restroom so I could calm down. I posted about this to our rants from retail right around the time that some fucking guy was ranting about employees that were less than thrilled to serve him, because he was as late as some of those people that I was serving, and the dude had this attitude like he has the excuse to shop and fuck everything up because he works late. You mean to tell me that you didn't have a couple of minutes in the 9.5 hours that we operate for that you could have placed an order or swung by pick up some chicken or something? Were you working for 9.5 hours without a break? Nothing? Not 15? Not even 10? Not one single minute that you could step away from your job to place an order or do something in the span of almost 10 hours? If you're not full of shit, consider quitting your current job. Seriously. Now, I don't know how many people in my area have jobs like that and have that kind of conceited attitude, but apparently it's the fuck a lot. And for some reason, on that night, they all decided they wanted deli food. Speaking of unexpected rushes, there was this one time that people were flooding us when there were goddamn tornado watches and warnings and shit. A new low has been reached. How stupid do you have to be to literally risk your life for a bucket of chicken? Really? Fuck that, man. Having your kids out in that shit, no less. I'd be at home getting ready for the signal to bunker down and take cover if I were any of those people. Not out buying shit. Like, when shit pops up like that, we're past panic buying. If your house doesn't survive, you literally wasted $500 on bulk. And chances are, in this cheap shit city, you'll be paying out of pocket for repairs. So good luck with that. The night of the Super Bowl this year was rather calm, though, which may have been because they allowed me to have the lights off during the day, because I was gonna have to start cleaning early because the other night guy called in and the noon lady didn't want to work for 12 hours. Understandable. But I almost expected for things to get crazy anyway, even though we were still dealing with a snowstorm and the roads were icy as fuck. I just imagine people taking the chances and narrowly avoiding wrecking their car just to get their 4 pounds of hot wings and chicken strips and a 24-piece all cooked fresh. Next, if you're gonna order something via telephone, want it ready in the 5 minutes that you'll be there by, especially if it's something like sliced ham and cheese. Don't even bother, okay? Just don't. Just go there and just ask for it. Ask for whatever it is you need at the counter. Because this next bitch, the first rant I posted to our rants from retail about, talking for some reason, decided to unload her venom into her yanking a bag of sliced Swiss cheese out of my hand as I was trying to apologize for the wait. When my fucking coworker is on break and the lunch rush is making its way down here, I'm not gonna have the fucking time to get your shit sliced in a 5-minute period. I'm sorry, but I'm just fucking not. I even tried too. I tried being as respectful as an employee as I could be for not having even started on it by the time it took her to drive down here. I had great hospitality, but damned if you do, damned if you don't, I guess. You know, that night I only got 4 hours of sleep, and the shift the night before, the night of my fucking dad's fucking cousin's funeral, who was murdered in cold blood, the night cook fucking no-showed. And that day I worked from 10 in the goddamn morning until 9 at night. So thank you, bitch. Thank you for killing what little nice guy I had left in me. And what little sense of reason I had left for these ungrateful motherfuckers that shopped with us. For killing what little joy I had left in this job. Thank you. take it as a lesson, and I think you did, but if you're gonna want something from our deli and already know what you're gonna get, and it's just gonna take you 5 minutes to get here, don't bother calling us, because you don't know if we're fucking busy, too busy for us to get a fucking grab-and-go ready. Fucking stupid whore, fucking coke addict-looking bitch. Do you think I feel good and mentally prepared for a bitch out after being cocked over, missing out on sleep, and a family member having been killed whose funeral I had to fucking miss because of work? No, I don't. And you should feel fucking bad, you greedy cunt. So I unhooked the phone, fuck off into the bakery station, and later that day I posted about it, and I'm just going, this job is going to be what turns me into a communist, isn't it? And here we are about a year and a half later, and I'm watching Second Thought's newest videos. But, you know, at least as a socialist, I advocate for expanding freedom, avoiding crises, and improving the quality of life. Not practically enslaving the workforce and suppressing the rights of the people, like the Soviet Union and America today both do/did. But seriously, fuck the lot of you who feel it's alright to mistreat minimum wage workers on such a whim. We are not robots that have no emotion or reaction to stress, or superhuman speed or the ability to multitask between customers. Now, when that lady comes in, I fucking ghost her. If there's no one else to help, I leave mumbling something about needing to piss. Because if I'm gonna need to deal with a pissy old cunt, at least let me piss first. Next person, you just have to love it. The person that doesn't feel like waiting 8 minutes but wants food. Egg rolls, if I'm going to be exact. Usually those are only made for the lunch rush. But some lady who is unfortunate to have to live off food stamps, but thinks her position in life gives her the moral right to bitch at cashiers and shit, and haggle for a lower price. She came to us one night wanting 5 egg rolls cooked fresh, but got all gripey when she heard the waiting time of 8 minutes, mistook it for 10 and started bitching at us over it, all even though there were still egg rolls in the bar. And she wouldn't shut her damn mouth over it. Of course, that night was busy as fuck also, so her whining about this shit only made it worse. But it's like, if you want the egg rolls, shut the fuck up and wait. You think we're Panda Express? You think we're P.F. Chang? We're a grocery store deli that serves mostly fried chicken. We're often rated best chicken in town, beating out Walmart's deli and even Kentucky Fried. That is our fucking niche, not Chinese food. If you want the egg rolls, be patient and wait 8 minutes. If you don't want to wait, then order something else or fucking starve. I really don't care. If I was fucking desperate enough, I'd keep my mouth shut and be counting down the minutes until my food was ready. It might even tip the employees on my way out. Or hell, I might even take the 8-hour-old egg rolls, not order them fresh, and then bitch and complain the entire damn time they're in the fryer. Ugh. Why do I always get the spoiled brats and the retards and shit? Why can't we just have well-rounded good people who are willing to wait as long as it takes? Alright, I got a couple more stories for you before I end it. These are from pre-rants from retail. The one that sticks out the most is this one lady who wanted 3 chicken legs cooked fresh. Mind you, there was already chicken in the bar. Hadn't been there maybe 45 minutes to an hour at the time she called. I cook an entire bag of chicken because I figure we're gonna need some later anyway. I cook it, and around the time I exit the deli for the restroom, and my coworker, who was still sort of new but had been there long enough that she had the basics nailed, but stupid me, thinking the orderer wouldn't be there, maybe around the same time I came back. She came and got her chicken while I was in the restroom, so I didn't have the chance to give her the chicken that was coming out of the fryer. What do you know, around a half hour later, the following phone call happens. Hello, you've reached the deli. Yes, I picked up my order for 3 fresh chicken legs. Okay. They weren't fresh. Oh, yeah. So next time I'm going to tell the manager. I don't know why it's so hard to just do what I ask you. Ma'am, that was my coworker. I really don't care who it was. And that's where I hung up. Kate, first off, the chicken legs were fresh. At least fairly, if you got the ones from the hot bar. They were an hour old. Second, I did more than what you asked me to do. I cooked an entire fucking bag of this shit. At the time of this, I was 19. Not fucking 9. You're not my goddamn mother. Third, don't tell me you're going to tell the manager. Just fucking do it. This is a front desk matter anyway. I don't know why people call the department they were shopping in to deliver their complaints. Not our job. Customer service handles that shit. I'm a fry cook in the deli. I'm not exactly in charge of fucking reimbursing you or anything like that. I'll do it nowadays just so people will piss off, but that's about it. And you know, even customer service and management were annoyed with your complaint. There's not really much of a difference between hour-old chicken and fresh new chicken, except the hour-old chicken has been out just a little longer. I probably have eaten 2 3-hour-old pieces of chicken. Shit tastes the same all the time and it's fucking delicious. Did you have the chicken in front of your AC the whole time you were driving home with it? Or, like that relic, do you just not like our chicken that much? If that's the case, you can go somewhere else. It's not like I jizzed all over it before giving it to you. Like McDonald's, when they'll end up giving me the mayo and lettuce on my chicken sandwich when I ask for plain. Which, even still, if I didn't want to go through the trouble of wiping all that shit off, I'd go up to them and just ask, yes, I asked for plain, this has mayo and stuff, can I just get this replaced? I don't treat them like lessers. We're all grown adults here. Fucking treat me like one. I don't care if I'm not even 20 yet. What really pisses me off about it is her acting like it was my fault she got the wrong chicken, when clearly the person who served her was a lady, not a man. You got butthurt over a fucking misunderstanding. I mean, of course it's my fault I didn't tell the coworker, but is that really excuse to get all condescending with me? No, it isn't, honey. Fast forward some 3 days later, I'm tired, I've got maybe 6 hours of sleep, and I'm in this mood where I'm like, man, I'm so fucking tired of people bitching. I'm gonna quit soon if it doesn't fucking stop. And then comes in this fat slob, who you know he probably drinks beer, fucking alcoholic ogre. But anyways, he wants, what was it, 6 chicken strips, something like that? I'm barely warmed up for the day, the crispy shit on the chicken keeps hanging onto the edges of the bag, so naturally it's taking me a bit to get it under control. So with his head turned, he says, hey, yes sir? It's alright, I've changed my mind. Okay. And as he's walking off, he mutters, I'm not gonna wait that long. To which I mutter, asshole, right back at him. I was like the first customer that day for me, and he's bitching cause why? This is taking too long. So I'm just like, you know what, fuck this. I cook one last batch of chicken strips and literally almost quit on the spot. The store director was able to convince me otherwise. Maybe I shouldn't have let him, but it's like, dude, go on then. I mean, he could have been talking about the line at the register, but I'll tell you now, that's not what I'm not gonna wait that long sounds like. It sounds like he was getting impatient because it was taking me longer than 10 seconds to get his shit ready. In that case, I hate to see what he's like when Facebook or whatever gives him an infinite loading screen when he's trying to post some stupid like boomer meme or Fox News article trashing the left. I hate to see how he is towards waiters at the fucking Mexican restaurant or at Olive Garden or whatever. Oftentimes, those people take like 10 minutes, especially if it's busy. If someone's still fairly new to working and it's like the start of their shift, it's gonna take a moment to get something ready. It might not be a hyperbolic 2 to 5 minutes just to get 6 chicken strips in a bag, but dude, you can wait 30 seconds plus 2 to 5 minutes at checkout, or 10 if the line is long. Never mind the cookie lady. If you've got like an hour for lunch or whatever, 5 to 10 minutes isn't shit unless you literally wasted the first 45 minutes of your break. In that case, the fault is on you. Or maybe you eat slowly, we'll eat faster. Don't tell me with that gut you don't scarf down a tub of Ben & Jerry's in a matter of minutes. You've got no obligations for an entire hour, you have no reason to be in a hurry. And it's not like you're getting dinner either. I don't think you can be late for dinner. If it's taking the deli clerk so long that you're actually starting to get annoyed, all you gotta say is, actually never mind, I don't need this. Buy some shit for sandwiches, or pick up some TV dinners. There is absolutely no need to be a dick about it. We are not your verbal fucking punching bag, you fucking wannabe alpha male. Last customer I want to talk about is something else, honestly. Swear to God, the family she comes from is inbred as hell. Her teeth are fucked up, her hair is a mess, this mutant that follows her around has the face and demeanor of a 14-year-old, but the height of a fully grown man. I'd be surprised if she didn't come in from Oklahoma, which for context, I live like a couple miles north of the border. She orders an 8-piece chicken family dinner, which you get 2 medium-sized side dishes of your choosing and 4 bread rolls. But she does this twice. Honestly, my memory's fuzzy, but I guess the first time we did this, busy as hell it was. You know how it is, because customers have the moral right to get all naggy when this happens, even when customers have us outnumbered 3 to 1, but we're unable to complete it. But she gets mad and bitches to customer service. At least for once, though, we have someone smart enough to not bitch at the deli workers. But you'd think management would be like, okay, maybe we just need a little more help back there. Nope. Not happening. She calls back real late a couple days later. Blah blah blah, I'm gonna order some chicken and it better be on time this time. Of course, during this time I was dealing with a wax blockage in my ear, so I can neither hear right or think straight. Because I'm like, oh god, my ear. And, well, I didn't think to tell her that we had already shut down the fryer for the night, but she actually does it. She gets down here expecting her chicken. I'm thinking, oh god, not this cunt. She goes, chicken? I have to tell her, sorry. The fryers are already shut down for the night. She goes and tells the manager and the closing manager on this night, who's now a former employee, but during her time as a manager, she was super strict, which I respect, don't get me wrong. Be strong, especially when you're in an area where feminism and shit like this is looked down on. But the manager comes back with the lady, and she's going, what's going on down here? It's only gonna take you guys 5 minutes. I just say, fuck it, let's just end the saga right now. I pour the bag of breading into the container, but the worker that I was working with at the time, she's the bitch from the 400 subscriber special rant, but this was before our fallout. She tells the manager that there's already 8-piece chicken deals out on the cold case, and so they just say fuck it and decide to go with that. From then on, I never really heard from that redneck bitch again, but it's like, lady, you called literally last fucking minute for this shit. Too bad, so sad, you're not gonna get fresh chicken. That's just the way it's gonna be, okay? We don't operate every minute of the day. The store doesn't even operate every hour of the day. We open at 7 in the morning and close at 9 at night. If you want the store, the deli specifically, to be going on at all times, that's a matter you'll have to take up with corporate, but they're not going to be too thrilled with having to pay 2 people to man the station, thus missing out on profits, when it's like you're the only person that's going to shop that late. Believe me, I'd like to see what crazy maniacs I'd come across at 3 a.m., and at least for $7.25 an hour, I can do exactly what I would do for that little bit of money, which is literally just stand there with a dumb smile on my face. But do you really think they're going to change their hours just to make one person, you, happy? No, okay? Prime time is from 9 a.m. when we have most of our shit ready, and 6:30 p.m. when we start to clean up. If you have not a single minute to call in order in those 9.5 hours, tough shit. It's time to rethink your life if you're that busy of a person, especially when you're a fucking grandma. And that is the end of it. You know, people like this tend to be the same people who oppose the robotization of public service when it's like, your fucking type are the reason workers hate this industry, and why employers have had to come up with ways to keep up with it. Self-checkout being a huge example, but believe it or not, soda dispensers at Burger King are an example. I just imagine someone asking for a Sprite and the guy behind the counter accidentally going for the 7-Up, and the customer like tosses his drink in the guy's face. I'm sorry, but if someone ever did that to me, they'd be getting punched in the fucking face. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. They can send me to jail. I don't care. I'd quit right then and there, go home, shower, and wait for the cops to knock on my door. No, that is not how you adult. Sprite and 7-Up are 2 of the same fucking drink from different brands. But if you're that on edge about it, interrupt the guy and tell him, hey man, that's 7-Up. Tossing your drink in some guy's face is universal for fight me. And you know what? Here's the deal. Here's the gauntlet that I'm laying down for you. If you're gonna be a dick to some guy who's busting his ass for just $7 and 25 pence per hour, trying his damnedest to make ends meet, and you're the type that's gonna be rude to him over a small, insignificant mistake like that, or for being a tad slower than other employees, from here on out, you're going to be receiving second-rate service. And if you have a problem with that, fight me. If you're a customer and you recognize me from the store in town, and you have it in for me, and you're watching this video, and you have a problem with being the last customer or us serving you without a smile on our faces, fucking fight me. And I'm dead serious about that. I don't care if you're young or old, fat or skinny, buff or lean, tall or short, man or woman, white or black. Fucking it, just fight me if you have a problem with me. If you get that angry, just reach over the counter and clock me in the face or something. Quit bitching and just fight me. Quit shit-talking me in your safe space over the phone. Come to the store, grow some balls, and fight me. I don't get paid enough to take shit from people that I just met. I'd rather just fight if you're gonna be a massive cunt over something stupid. And don't think you can get by with the minors that work here too. The kids that are 16, 17 years old doing this to earn some money for themselves or to support their family during a difficult time. Fucking child abusers, fucking pedophiles. If you have a problem with them, fight me, not them. They are a kid, you're an adult. If you want to settle anything like men, you can deal with me or their fucking parents. But I will not tolerate child abuse of any kind wherever I end up seeing it. And you know, even before I started working, I thought being rude or unruly to one of the workers was something that would get you booted out of the store. Back around Christmas 2018, me and one of my relatives were going shopping for some presents, and the person that I was with started being rowdy when we got to the cashier and was using profane language and was accusing them of trying to overcharge him, and I just stood there like, oh god, dude, you're gonna get us kicked out. During the transaction, he left to go get something from his car. I think it was like another car or something, and me and the cashier look at each other, and I just awkwardly laugh about the situation. I just hope by that the cashier figured that I wasn't in support of that kind of behavior. I might have even apologized, but the manager ended up having to be the one to see the transaction through, so imagine that. But if one of the workers is being rude to me when I'm the customer, I just won't do business there, or at least with that particular employee. But I went into retail believing it was my job to be nice to the customers. But call my patience now for what it is, and that's paper thin. I've always been that kind of person where if you show me respect, I'll show you respect. Treat others the way you want to be treated. I guess that was the motto that was burned into me when I was a child in kindergarten, but I live by it to this day. Well, anyways, that's where I'm gonna end the video. Of course, the amount of things that can be said will never end because new, unique situations pop up all the time. There have been situations where customers weren't exactly rude, but creepy, and in a sexual way. And when or if I ever see some old fat fuck guy hitting on a teenage girl, or it doesn't even have to be a teenager, but a female employee, or you're backing her into a corner, or stalking her throughout the store, harassing her in any way, your balls will stay with me, but the rest of you will be dragged off the fucking premises. There are situations involving assault, shit being thrown at the employees, oftentimes for no reason. It happens quite a lot with my grandmother, but again, at least you'd want to fight me, unlike most of these chicken shit motherfuckers. This sort of ranting will never run out of material, and the day it does, we can officially declare world peace. But if people are bitching about something that's gonna take a couple minutes in a world where it's pretty much common sense to wait for a service if you want it, that's your loss for being an impatient brat. Just to further drive the point home that we're not paid enough. There was this one time during my first run in Delhi that the drain started spitting up sewage water every time we went to use the sink, and it went on like that from November 2019 until February 2020 when they finally had some plumbers come in and fix the damn thing. We tried everything, even if it would fix it temporarily. Nothing fixed it for any amount of time. We tried plunging it, and this black shit started coming up. We tried using liquid plumber stuff, that didn't work. One time when I was plunging it, some of it got in my mouth. The smell was awful. Like, you could tell when it would start to come up, because the whole deli would smell like someone came and dumped a barrel of diarrhea all over the floor. And even then, people still kept coming in. It would still get busy as fuck, even when it smelled like horse ass back there. I don't remember. I think a couple of complaints were filed regarding the smell and the overall condition that the deli was in. I went from squeegeeing it back down the drain to grabbing a mop and wringing the head as I soaked it in sewage water, and the mop bucket would get so full that I would need to dump it a few times, only for the sewage water to come right back up. And then I resorted to having the vacuum, and that would get so full that they would have us dump it out back. The drain would spit so much fucking sewage water up that the puddle it generated was so huge that it stretched from one corner of the deli where the main sink was at, almost to the other corner of the deli where the bakery was at. For context, my boss's desk is right before the bakery, and it's probably 10 or so feet away from where the sink is at. It would stop right before it got to my boss's desk. And the reason I know this is because I straight up gave up one night and just let a whole bunch of water run while I cleaned the dishes. There was this one night after my fallout with the drama queen. Of course, I asked not to be scheduled with her, but because we were short-handed, all of us were working 6 days a week, which meant I had to dive into hell at least once a week. What pisses me off about that, though, is they cut her hours to where she was only working maybe once or twice a week, so it's like, why the fuck do I have to deal with her the only goddamn day she's gonna be working? What the fuck? But anyways, I was closing with her one night, and she does her usual bitching and griping. And I'm on the button ready to just walk out if she starts with me, but we get the dishes done, and she literally unplugs the sink knowing damn well what's going to happen. And it does happen. My entire station is flooded with a vile mix of dishwater and sewage water. So I mop or do what I can to mop and go home. The next day I got in trouble because apparently it took her an hour and a half to mop. They were gonna cut my hours when it's like, you're having me work with this witch that I assume flooded my station on purpose just to fuck me over. And if they did, their workers would probably be going 7 days a week over 40 hours and probably without overtime pay too. And this terrible management of schedule could have been avoided if you guys would just hire a crew of more than fucking 2 people. It's not about me leaving early on a disrespectful employee. People like her should be fired if no one wants to work with her, because evidently she's a drag on the workplace. So once again, no, I'm not paid enough, and I'm not willing to concede an inch of that opinion. But for those that I'm sure are nagging me to find a new job, I'm working on it. During production, a position opened up at a nearby fast food joint. I've applied. I'll be doing pretty much the same thing, but maybe without customer interaction. And I'll be earning $12 an hour. Like I said in the beginning, my current job is worth almost $5 more than what I'm actually earning. I'll actually be getting the money if I get the job, so wish me luck. I'm also in a rough spot right now. I'm actually losing so much money that I'm probably going to be falling behind on my payments. So yeah, our current minimum wage is absolutely not enough to sustain a living. And when you're working as hard as I am, it really isn't like $7.25. It's for people who have to do practically nothing. People on unemployment are doing nothing, and for an even higher wage. So no, you devaluing me because you think retail's basic work isn't gonna fly. Try working retail for once, and by retail I mean something other than door grader for Walmart, which by the way is typically a job for people who have been operated on a lot or are recovering from an injury. Try being a cashier or a deli clerk. Try actually dealing with scum of the earth individuals who will treat you like a computer. And if you have, and you still think minimum wage workers are earning fairly on $7.25 an hour, do you even value yourself? That's the question I'm going to drop it on. If you liked the video, please be sure to click thumbs up, leave some comments, tell me your thoughts and stories, share the video far and wide, and please subscribe. Please also click the bell to receive notifications for future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon for another video.